Howdy, folks. I'm a dour mourning dove, drearily dreaming of dreadful dandelions.
I'm Amber.
And here are more dreadful dandelions for us to dream about, because we apparently are like Alice in Wonderland, but it's a dream, whereas Alice in the Wonderland was actually reality. And folks, we have a live stream on Friday. For more information on that, please see the end of the video. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Making My Sister's Family Go Hungry at My Wedding Because She Didn't Pay the Meal Contribution? Hello, am I the jerk? I'm still processing the events from my wedding last weekend and could use some judgment. I decided to have a lavish wedding, something out of a fairy tale, and I wanted everything to be perfect. To offset some of the costs, I asked all the guests to contribute a meal fee of about $200 a person. I thought this was reasonable given the exquisite menu and venue. My sister Emma has always struggled financially. She's a single mother with 3 kids and has had a tough year with some unexpected expenses. When she received the invitation and saw the meal fee, she called me almost in tears. She explained that she couldn't afford the $800 for her and her kids, but really wanted to attend and celebrate my day. I was adamant about the rule, and I told her that if she couldn't pay the fee for the meal, then they could attend the ceremony, but they would have to sit out of the reception. She was hurt but agreed, not wanting to miss my wedding. Well, the wedding day came, and everything was extravagant as I had imagined. However, when the reception dinner started, I saw my sister and her kids sitting at a separate table watching everyone eat. Some of the guests noticed and whispered, and my sister looked more and more uncomfortable as the night went on. She left early with her kids. The next day, my family was furious with me. They said that I humiliated my sister and her kids, and that my meal fee was outrageous, especially considering her situation. I feel like they're all overreacting. It was my day, and I just wanted everything to be perfect without compromising on the lavishness. So, am I the jerk for enforcing the meal fee at my wedding? Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP's a major jerk here. Don't have a wedding you can't afford. Like, if you want a lavish wedding, find ways to get the money. You can take out loans if you want. I don't recommend it, but demanding that people pay $800 for one dinner for a family of 4 is outrageous.
Well, especially someone who's struggling financially, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think OP, generally it's considered polite etiquette at weddings for the bride and groom to pay for the meal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is generally the etiquette. And I mean, I understand that you want to have your perfect ideal fairy tale, but you also did this in a way that excluded your sister and made it impossible for her to actually enjoy your wedding. So what's the point of having an extravagant wedding if you're going to exclude your loved ones?
Exactly. And like, can you imagine any other party where you just like, oh, like unless it's a potluck where everyone contributes a dish, like you generally don't go, oh, well, start forking over the money. Like, I know there is some level of transactionalness in that people expect wedding gifts and birthday gifts and whatnot. But the etiquette is that if someone does not give a gift, you just smile and move on. It's not that you demand, no, I need my $800 because I don't have this money and I expect you to fork it over.
Yeah. Well, also, OP could have just paid the cost for the dinner out of her own pocket if she knew that her sister was struggling this much. And I understand that weddings are a big deal for a lot of people, and I'm not trying to say that she was wrong for having an extravagant wedding, but it seemed like she also couldn't afford everything that went along with a wedding of this caliber. So maybe she needed to save up for a little bit longer before going ahead forward with this wedding plan. And, you know, I think that's really what it boils down to. Again, I know you were probably in a rush to get married. You wanted to have your wedding and your extravagant moment, but in the process, you also alienated your sister and you humiliated her.
Right, and you are more focused on the party than the marriage, and that's always concerning when someone, like, if you want to have a lavish party, don't make it a wedding, but when you're so focused on having a lavish party over the actual marriage and the things that are important, like family, that's not a good priority to have.
No. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Plain Trifle 3608 says, Info. Was the meal fee something that you expected of people instead of a wedding gift, or did you request both? Edit to add, you're the jerk, just wanted to confirm. And OP replies to that, the meal fee was an independent fee of the wedding gifts. It covered the cost of the lavish reception, ensuring a top-tier experience. Gifts were optional. The fee was a priority to secure the event's quality. Guests had the choice and were informed in advance. But you have to ask yourself, was your sister going to give you an $800 wedding gift?
And the answer is no. If you're having the guests pay for dinner, then let them pick the venue too. Like, at that point in time.
You know what I say? I say, let's bring child labor back into, like, the spotlight and make those kids work for their meals. I mean,
No.
that's the way to solve this situation. They're just not pulling their weight.
No.
We need more child labor in this country.
No.
I'm kidding, folks. Hopefully you know that. And Flimsy Violinist 4510 says, you're the jerk. Your guests will remember you as the spoiled, selfish brat that you are. And OP replies, it's easy to judge when you're not the one planning a dream wedding. I wanted a day to remember, and I did what was necessary to make that happen. As for my sister, it's unfortunate, but everyone had the same choice to make. Well, you're making an unfair tax on people with larger families.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're a person who comes to the wedding single is going to have far less of a fee than a family of 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, well, not to mention that usually the plates, even at weddings, kids' plates are less expensive than adult plates.
Kids generally, I'm not saying they all are this way, but there are a lot of kids who like mac and cheese, right?
Right,
And aren't going to want lobster tail.
Exactly. And, so it just seems very... Like, it was like OP threw all the reception, because she says it covers the reception, so she threw all the reception costs in and just divided it up under the number of people and had them foot the bill for everything.
Yeah.
And the audacity to be like, you don't understand because you're not trying to plan your dream wedding. How do you know the commoner hadn't planned a wedding? Like,
Yeah.
I've planned a wedding, and I never would have dreamed of asking my family to shell out $200 per person to show up.
Yeah. All right, folks. And our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not letting my friend roll down her window in my car filled with bug spray and toxins? In other words, am I the jerk for poisoning my friend? I was at a kickback with some of my close friends 2 days ago. At the end of the kickback, my friend, and I'll call her Jay, asked for a ride home as her original ride had to leave early. I was totally okay with this, but I was worried about her being in my car. I have a very bad fear of bugs. Because of that, I bug bomb my car every season, every 3 months or so. I fill it with mothballs, spray every inner and outer inch with Ortho Max, and I use a chlorine diffuser placed on the dashboard. I understand that my car is a gas chamber on wheels, but my reasoning is that it's better to cut my life by 3 to 5 years compared to 50 years in a deadly car accident. I almost fatally injured myself multiple times, endangering myself and others due to bugs in my car. Doing all this seemed to stop the bugs from appearing. I haven't seen them in 2+ years, so I do this religiously. So I let Jay know beforehand if she was okay with all this, warning Jay of all the things that I did to my car, even letting her test the inside of the car and see if she was okay with it. She said that it was all good. We also made the agreement that she won't roll down the windows. She told me that that's fine, as the ride home was only about 15 minutes. As we were on the way, Jay mentions that the smell is worse than she thought, and asked if she could roll down the passenger window. And I told her sorry, no, and I brought up that we had agreed to have the windows up. About a minute later, she rolled down the windows. I panicked and I rolled them back up. She then started telling me that she was getting dizzy. Now, this is where I feel like a jerk. I think that I slightly gave in and I rolled down the window about 2 millimeters. It was sunny outside and I was afraid of potential bugs coming inside. I dropped her off and she called me a weird psychopath. I understand that this is not normal, but choosing between friends and a phobia, my mind automatically goes to my phobia. I absolutely despise my fear. As I'm writing this down, I definitely feel like a jerk, but what do you guys think? Edit. I guessed it, but a majority of the votes are you're the jerk. Going to apologize to Jay today. Some of you mentioned that this could have been avoidable if I just didn't let Jay in the car in the first place. I think from now on, no more passengers for their own sake. Alright folks, what do you think?
I think OP needs therapy yesterday. Like, I know that phobias are tough to deal with, and it's very, very uncomfortable to be very anxious and to panic. But this is not a healthy coping mechanism. You shouldn't be thinking about, oh, well, I'm just shortening my life by 3 to 5 years instead of crashing my car.
Well, I mean, I agree that she needs therapy. I'm not saying that. But there are a lot of people who make those kinds of choices all the time, like, oh, I'm going to smoke cigarettes,
I mean,
right?
that's fair.
And I mean, certainly, like, there's a level of choice involved with life. I think that that's really a personal decision, but I do agree with you that this does seem like an unhealthy way of coping with the situation.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like a good or healthy way to cope. And I feel like if OP is able to work on that phobia, then they can have hopefully a much happier life than their current, like constantly white knuckling it in fear over the idea there might be bugs anywhere. Because I'm sure they have to come into contact with bugs in other areas, like they get in your house. If you're outdoors, there's bugs everywhere.
Well, and that's it, is that you do have to be careful. And I mean, she needs to be careful about not getting into an accident. And certainly if one thing is an immediate risk to her life, I can understand why she would choose this route, because in the interim, she does need some way to stop her from getting into an accident and stopping her from being injured in that way. And the thing I do worry about is if these chemicals are as harsh as they are, then OP may not be looking at like 5 years less life, right?
Right. Well, reading in the comments, briefly, it sounds like these are very, very harsh chemicals, and it's not just the 3 to 5 years that OP thinks.
Yeah. Like OP may be looking at a lot shorter of a lifespan if they're exposed to these level of chemicals. And even if it's not a shorter lifespan, then they may reduce their health span pretty significantly. And they may end up with chronic conditions.
To a degree, what you do with your own health is your own business. I mean, we do to it's complicated, but
Hmm.
we can brush aside that. But when your phobias get to the point of endangering other people, like you're so afraid that you're like, I'm gonna let my friend stay in this gas chamber and cut down their life expectancy. Like that's where it gets to be this drawn a line, and I think OP really, really needs to. I mean, I think not driving people in the car is a good short-term solution, but I don't think it's a good long-term solution.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And JMBBL says, have you considered therapy to manage your phobia? And OP replies, I attempted it once, but it was a form of exposure therapy and I couldn't handle it past a certain stage. It was getting expensive too. By looking at all of the comments, I should consider an attempt too.
Well, and the important thing about therapy is not every therapist is the right fit for every person. And it may not be like not every therapy technique is right for every person. So it may be helpful to have some other form of therapy before going straight into exposure
Yeah,
therapy.
I think exposure therapy is a pretty extreme place to start
Yeah.
therapy at. And it's one of those things that you really need to build up to it, and very, very, very slowly too.
Mm-hmm.
And exposure therapy needs to be one of those things where you feel like you are the person in control. That way you have the ability to cut the sessions short and whatnot.
Right. Well, that's the only way it works is if you have complete control to stop at any point in time.
Hmm. And Grail 90210 says, I used hypnotherapy for a phobia and it worked great. I wonder if it might work for you as well if you were to give it a try. And OP replies, how did it work for you? What are the processes like? Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Telling My Wife How to Dress? I'm a 34-year-old, and my wife Kay is a 32-year-old, and we met my sister Sarah, a 25-year-old, and her new boyfriend. We have never met him before, for our early dinner. Afterwards, my wife and I went to listen to some music at a nightclub. My wife wore a miniskirt, a t-shirt, a jacket, and solid tights and boots to the restaurant. It's winter, so the tights had those fuzzy linings underneath. So, leggings. My sister didn't talk much during dinner, but texted me afterwards about my wife dressing provocatively when meeting her new man. A crazy rant that I blocked her and enjoyed my night. The argument continued with my mom because my sister called my mom about my wife's skirt. If you need a reminder of our ages, please see the paragraph above. I laughed at my mom, and my mom said that it was kind of disrespectful of my wife to wear a miniskirt, and she could see where my sister was upset. My mom told me next time that I should tell my wife to wear pants or something around my sister. I told my mom that I'm 100% not telling a 30-plus-year-old woman how to dress, and my sister needs to stop thinking that she can make crazy demands of people. My mom accused my wife of seeking attention, and I said, what about my sister calling you to tattle on people. My mom called me a jerk for not seeing my sister's point of view on this. I also have not unblocked my sister from my phone, and my mom insists that I should in case of an emergency. I said that I would unblock her when she acts like an adult. Now, my mom and sister aren't speaking to me over the miniskirt that I didn't even wear. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. Well, for one, leggings are pants. So we're just to clear the air. Leggings are pants. I am wearing leggings right now. They are pants. 2, you do not get to control what the people around you wear. Like, she exists in a world where people wear clothes. And some of these clothes may not be her ideal clothes. You don't get to go and be like, yeah, I don't like that, so you can't wear that anymore.
So let me ask you this. If she had stood up in the middle of the restaurant, pulled her skirt off, and was only wearing the leggings underneath, would your sister still have had a problem with this? And the answer is no, because then she was wearing pants, right? And I think that's what Amber was saying, right? She could literally have taken the skirt off and there would have been no problems at all because she was literally wearing pants. So they got exactly what they wanted. So there is no problem here. These people are absurd. They're ridiculous. Just because she wore a skirt over the top of pants doesn't mean... And even if she had just worn the skirt by itself, right? They wouldn't have any right to say this. But the fact is that they're making a demand about her wearing pants when she's literally wearing pants.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous.
It is. It's so ridiculous. Like you were saying, and that's such an important point, is like, even if she had worn a miniskirt, there's nothing inappropriate about that. People wear miniskirts to dinner all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the sister needs to work on her jealousy issues.
Yeah, you think this is a jealousy issue where she's afraid that OP's wife is going to go and snatch her man?
That's what it sounds like. Like, everything that she and the mom said, it seems to indicate that they think that she's trying to show off for her man, when it sounds like she's just dressing to go out to a nightclub afterward.
Yeah, I think that they just need to take a nice deep breath, reevaluate the situation, apologize to OP, and say that they were completely out of line by making these demands.
And apologize to OP's wife for insulting her to OP. Like, I don't know if the wife knows that or not, but she deserves an apology too.
Oh, she absolutely deserves an apology. You know, slut shaming like this just is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Between Weeb and Otaku says, well, you're paying for it anyways, so you should just wear the miniskirt, not the jerk. And OP replies, I'm so close to wearing one next time I see my sister. Honestly, I like it. Yeah. I like it a lot. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
What do you call a darling root vegetable?
You know what I call a darling root vegetable? I call them potato because I love my potatoes. I sing "Oh My Darling" to all of my potatoes. Every single time I go out to peel a potato, I have a creepy ritual where I sing "Oh My Darling Clementine" to them, even though they're potatoes and not clementines.
A sweet potato.
A sweet potato. I was pretty close. Oh my darling. Oh my darling.
Brian just made me potatoes for dinner, and this is so weird.
I'm going to go find myself some potatoes to sing to you folks. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Folks, I've been forgetting to mention this, but we have a live stream on Friday. So hopefully we'll see you there. I'll be scheduling the live stream so that hopefully we can get that up and running. I was going to do that at the beginning of the month, but time escaped me. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it in the form of yet another wedding invite.
You are cordially invited to this wedding. No charge, because we want to celebrate with family and friends, and we are not just doing the cash grab so we can have an elaborate event.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.